Hey everyone, Lance again, welcome back to the channel. First things first, I'm going to do a shout out to Chris, who is the owner of Terrain by Hand. He sent me a little diorama for me to put in one of my cabinets and fit one of my models on. I'll show you that now. I just wanted to give him a bit of a shout out because it's a cool little thing, so let's go and have a look. So here is the little stand that was made. I'll just move my guy off it there. So I'm guessing he made it out of foam core or something like that and sculpted it himself. So Terrain by Hand, details are there, and I'll put some details in the description below. So if you want something making up to put a miniature on, I'm just going to use this Breath of Fire miniature for the time being. Then yeah, I requested this particular type of base purely because it goes with my Fire Quest and Breath of Fire type miniatures, so I thought it'd be cool. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Cheers again, Chris. I've also made this shelf. I'm getting a lot of requests off people at the moment to basically come and display their cards and some of their painted miniatures in store, even though we do commission painting and stuff like that ourselves. But I've decided to open one shelf up, or one cube shelf up, for that type of stuff. I've already got a few people who are bringing models in, supposedly, and we'll put their cards in there and we'll see how it goes. You know, I accept no liability, so if they break in transport or something like that, then it's on them. But I think it might be cool to just display a variation of models, and it helps fill up the cabinet for the time being. So watch this space, and whenever I get anything new, I'll be sure to let people know. Whilst we're here though, close that over, quick move around the store, because there's been some changes again. So Saturn 9 has arrived. That goes up for pre-order tomorrow, recording this on a Friday. People have seen the rack and all the different changes. You might see a lot of baskets and new acrylic shelves. Again, being frugal, bought them second hand as you would do. There was a video game store, video game and DVD store that was closing down, I think. I'm not 100% certain, but they were on eBay. I bought some acrylic shelves off them in the past, which have done me good so far, and decided to buy some more of their shelving inventory, so that, yeah, I could help fill the store and take things higher. And you know, if I come around here, you can see there's, yeah, it looks a lot fuller, right? A lot more chocker. Anyway, what we're going to do now is me and Matt are going to sit down. I'm going to introduce Matt, and then we can talk about some painting. Okay, so you may have seen in the back of some videos this mug. So who the hell are you and what are you doing in my store?
So my name's Matt, and I am, I'd say, a full-time commission painter, or going that way. That's kind of my plan. I've known Lance for about 18 years now, roughly, give or take, because we used to work at PC World together. And now I just like to come hang around here every so often, try and paint some stuff up. So I've done a few models for the cabinet that Lance has got. So I did the Arjat Rockfist that was on, he popped on his social media on Instagram. Yeah. And then hopefully I can help populate some more of the cabinet as well. That's kind of the idea. But most of the time I just come in and paint my own stuff so far.
Yeah, don't downplay it. He's done a chunk of models for the cabinet, and also when back in, I mean, you introduced me to Warhammer in general, right?
Was it a few years ago?
No. Like you. Well, I knew you've been painting for a couple of years now, right?
So I've been painting for about 2.5 years now, because I had a break from Warhammer, like I think a lot of people have, where it was, I played as a child from the age of like 10 to 13, and then didn't do anything. I started playing World of Warcraft then. That's where I know that addiction kicked in. Yeah. And then I did that for 20 years. So I only started again. 2.5 years ago, the start of 2023 is when I started with Warhammer again. And was it probably, I think it was 6 months or a year after that, I'm guessing, when I was speaking to you about.
No, like you said to paint a Warhammer model. That was, it must have been like in December or something like that, and then you and me were having a look around to try to help me get into painting models, and then we went to some other stores, didn't we? I ended up picking up a starter set. Yeah. Which I didn't paint, I sold. And then I got the introductory. Yeah, I got the introductory set, and then I was painting it, and then I was posting you pictures, and you were giving me some advice and stuff like that.
And in his defence, he's actually a hell of a lot better than I thought he would be. For the fact it was first models, because most people, I think we can all admit, our first few models aren't the best. Like, I look back at mine, and they were just very average, or not even average, they were crap basically. But Lance's were genuinely very good for the fact there is his.
Thanks, Matt. I'll just take that.
It's the only compliment you're gonna get. It's the only one you're gonna get.
Well, to be fair, like there was a chunk of models I feel like I painted anyway. Personally, that were just bad. But I guess when painting those Infernus Marines, I had some form of reference because I was going, I want to make it look similar to box art. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's everybody tries to do, don't they? So
yeah, and again, not to downplay your involvement in Epics'N'Stuffs in general. Like during that time. I was enjoying the painting so much. I think I've said this on another video where I thought, oh, I could maybe come and open a shop and then sit and do my work in here and then paint or sculpt whilst offering wares as well. But when I was looking at stuff to populate the website and the shop, I was getting advice off you. I mean,
not that I know much.
I think the advice was it pretty much boiled down to like get Space Marines and then you're laughing.
Yeah.
But no. But you know, Matt's obviously in his 2.5 year tenure of doing this time round. You've obviously got a lot of experience with paint brands, like, you know, you've used Citadel, Vallejo, the different contrast metals, brushes.
I do a lot of freelance paintwork. So I do for like a major kind of paint studio. So C studios, so I do freelance work for them. So obviously I don't work for them directly, but they send me the work and then I do it and I send it back. And that's taught me so much because I've painted probably about a dozen armies now in the past 18 months, 2 years, plus my own stuff, plus other smaller projects. So in the grand total, probably say 1,500, 2,000 models, which I know for normal people doing it as a hobby, that's not realistic. But because I'm doing it and getting paid, then it gives you that motivation when you do find a little bit boring to get it done and get it out there. But it's the amount of different types of paint brands and techniques and so on and so forth. It's just, a wide variety. And there's a lot to take in to begin with. But that's part of the fun of the hobby, I find, is learning on these new things and so on and so forth.
Yeah, and you know, Matt's been able to divulge some of that information to me, and that has absolutely 100% like contributed to some of my buying decisions. I'm sure he's just doing it so that he can get stuff cheaper for himself. But
yeah, it definitely is.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, when he comes in here and paints, he just steals my paints anyway.
It's one paint. I stole one paint one time.
But no, the advice is really, really cool. Yeah, so Matt comes in frequently now and, you know, sits, paints. You got to paint Arjak recently, which was really cool. What is it you're painting at the moment?
I'm doing a commission piece, so I'm not allowed to show them.
No, okay, no, I'm not saying show them.
But I'm doing an Ultramarines army at the moment, so I've spent the last like 5-6 weeks pumping that out, and that's like 113 models. But like I say, it takes its toll sometimes because it just gets boring when you paint the same thing day in, day out. But that's why doing Arjak was good fun, because it's like
palette cleanser.
Yeah, it breaks it up, and then it's just interesting, and then you look at it, and then you have to go back to what you were doing before.
So I've got a question for you then, because some people I think might want to know this. So you obviously paint pretty much every day, right?
Yeah.
For commission painting. Do you ever paint for yourself? And if you do, what do you paint?
Generally, no. I do try to, because when I've got gaps in between commissions, that's when I'll sit down, because I still have that kind of in me where I just want to paint all the time. I know it's not necessarily healthy to do it all the time. You do need a break. But I genuinely just enjoy the process of painting something, even if it is for myself. Even if I don't finish it off, getting part of it done and then being able to pick it up later, it's still that sense of achievement, because that's where, for this hobby for me, is the biggest, or the bit I like the most, is that sense of achievement when it's completed. But I know it's hard sometimes to get to that completion point.
Yeah, the blank canvas, and then
because you get 80% of the way through, and then you hit that dip where you're like, oh, I can't be bothered finishing this now. And it's pushing through that final 20%. It's like the bit where once you get there and you're over it, it's that dopamine hit, basically.
Yeah, so back to the question, like, going off on tangents again, Matt. Slap you back into reality. No, like, so you don't find much time to paint for yourself personally, because you're driven by the job, essentially.
Yeah,
is that right? Okay.
But at the moment, as soon as this commission's out the way, the Element Games have a paint competition at the start of August. I know your competition now. I'm plugging them.
It's all right. Don't worry about it. I've got nothing bad to say about it.
I've already done most of the work for a piece for that.
Okay,
and
cool.
I did that about 6 weeks ago, and then I'm going to finish.
Oh, that's your
off.
Eldaro.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I always butcher his name. A sermon.
Okay, yeah.
So hopefully I'll get that done in time. But that will be painting for myself, and I've done some like doing a kill team as well.
Oh yeah, the
so me and you can
kill team.
hopefully play at some point.
Yeah. Well, I need to start mine. Yeah. I'm too busy painting a.
He gave me a kill team, and I basically bashed it out in an evening, pretty much, or most of it, and then because they're just doing like a basic standard, and then Lance is just nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, he bashed it out, and I think the furthest I got with it was moving it from one shelf to another.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm just too busy. But no, I need to pinch myself to do more painting because when I do it, I super enjoy it. It's just being pulled left, right, and centre at the moment, just with everything store related, and then Patreon, and then sculpting and stuff. But I'm sure I'll settle into a rhythm. Okay, one more question for you, Matt, before I wrap up the video type of thing. Oh, two more questions actually. So one more for this is, what do you see yourself doing in the future then? So you've been doing this for 2.5 years now. Do you have any plans?
So beforehand, because I was working for Royal Mail before, and then it was hard juggling working there and painting purely from the fatigue, because I would be getting up at 4 in the morning, having to paint, going to work for 7-8 hours a day, walking 10 to 13 miles, and coming home and having to paint, and it wasn't realistic.
Yeah, you were just crashing out.
Yeah. Trying to keep on top of a commission and doing that was just... I did it because I love doing it, but then I reached that point where I was like, I'm done with Royal Mail, and I left about 4 or 5 months ago. And
I was pinching you to leave for a while.
It was Lance who was the one who actually told me to do it, and I was like, I can't risk not having a job. But I'm super glad that I did, because everything's still working out. And then so now the future plan is just to carry on with the commission work, and then the hard part is obviously getting a commission and so on and so forth. But it's one of those where I'll kind of traverse my way through that field and figure it out. But it's been good so far, so it's just planning on just carry on with that way forward, really. Okay,
cool. And then what are we going to see you in more videos at all? Or do you want to do that type of stuff?
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed it's there, because I try.
You're on video now as well, so you've got to say yes.
I've got to be honest. I try and come once a week. Like I didn't come last week, did I?
No.
And then the week before I came twice. So it's just I probably will be in the store more, because I just enjoy that process of getting out the house as well. Because that's the other problem with painting, is I never leave, and then it's coming here and it's getting to meet other people in the shop, because I have a nice time chatting with customers who come in. Because again, for me, painting is the big part of this hobby. I really enjoy listening to people when they talk about their armies and stuff, and I love looking at the pictures that people have got. But it's the paint side where my passion is. So yeah, I will be here more, and then you'll probably see my face a little bit more, I'd like to think.
Okay. Now it's up to you guys if you want to see Matt in videos more, or you want to, if you've got any questions, I'm sure you'll take some questions.
Yeah, of course, I can answer them. Yeah, it doesn't mean I'll necessarily be right.
Yeah, no, well, it's your opinion, right? I mean, everybody's different when it comes to the hobby, engages differently, which is really cool. So, yeah, that's Matt, a friend of mine who comes in store, and you might see his face every now and again. And, we might, if you've got questions for Matt with regards to painting, or just, how does he keep his ginger beard so nice? I don't know.
Then you told me not to swear, but anyway, I'll leave it at
that. But then, yeah, pop them in the comments below, and we'll get them to him. Cool. Okay, just before I see this video out, there's a couple of questions I do want to answer from the YouTube channel, but I will plug here. If you're liking this video, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff. I want to hit those targets and get that YouTube money. But also check out the website as usual, www.Epics'N'Stuffs.com, and there's the Patreon, the My Mini Factory, and all that good stuff. Links are in the description below, and anything through that you if you buy something or you subscribe, whatever, it supports the channel and this hobby endeavor. But moving on for that, there's a couple of questions I want to answer. There's been quite a few questions recently, obviously, because I put the call out. Some of them I will save for another Q&A video because they're a bit deeper, but there'll be a couple I'll answer now just for the fun of it, right? So the first one is, why do you dress like you're homeless? Lol.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
You can hear Matt laughing in the background, maybe. It's obviously a ploy to play on people's emotions, right? I dress like I'm homeless so that people feel more inclined to part with their money. No, I've always dressed like this, to be fair. I'm a bit of a recluse, so, I I'm at home all the time, very rarely go out, and when I socialise, everybody else I socialise with, for the most part, dresses like they're homeless as well.
Whoa, what are you trying to say?
Including Matt. No, I mean, the tooth doesn't help, right? Beard and all this type of stuff. I think it fits the hobby, right? Because I've got... all my money goes on Warhammer and miniatures and painting, so I've got no money left over for clothing. I hope that answers the question. Next question, Gary Brooks says, will you stay in Warrington or are you willing to go to another area? Love your videos. Thank you, Gary. So this is obviously regarding potential store moves in future. Ideally, I want to stay in Warrington. There's a plethora of reasons for it. You know, let me reel some of them off, why not? So just says on travel, you know, moving to a location that's further away will just be a nightmare to try and move stock and all that type of stuff to it. So if it's more localized, then that's just easier. Yeah, cost of daily travel, parking at the moment where we currently are is cheap. It's about £11 a week. So unless, you know, most local places have like similar prices in parking, so it'd be nice to just keep that price down. Obviously, if you get somewhere that has free parking, then that's great. But the cost of traveling to those places, and all that jazz. The main reason though would be with whatever, I don't know what you want to call it, like loyalty or customer base that I build here, I wouldn't want to lose that. So, you know, there's a lot of people who can't drive. It's not to say like moving to another place you won't have like a new customer base or loyalty base to build from. Obviously you will, but if there's work that's gone into building it here, it'd be a shame to just throw away any of that work and take the hobby space that, you know, some people do enjoy coming here, believe it or not. Take that away from people. I would like to keep it local in that sense. Keep the community that's already been you know, which I'm accommodating for now, and then just hopefully just grow it by getting a bigger space. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that I will have to obviously move location. I can't just move into next door or something like that, I don't feel. So it might be across town, but it's still within, like, you know, a mile radius type of thing. That's my hope anyway. Now, if a space does come up and it's just too good to be true, and then, you know, or it's so good I cannot not say yes, and it still ticks all the boxes, and then some, then yes, I could move a little bit further afield, but I doubt it. I will probably just limit myself by not looking in the first place. But thanks for the question, Gary. I hope I answered it in some way, shape, or form. So that's it for this video. Again, links in the description below for everything Epics'N'Stuffs related. If you want to ask Matt or myself any questions, do so in the comments below. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thanks again for watching, and see you next time. Bye for now.